The average 60-year-old in America is supposed to have 10 times their salary saved for retirement. 10 times! But the real median? It's less than 5.
And that 5 times gap, that is literally the difference between retiring on your own terms or working until your body physically just won't let you anymore. Today, we're breaking down exactly what people actually have decade by decade, from your 20s all the way through your 60s. We're using real data here, not guesses. And at the end of this explainer, I'm going to hand you a one-page benchmark chart. It'll tell you in about 10 seconds whether you're ahead, on track, or falling behind for your exact age. But look, if you skip to the end without understanding the middle, that chart isn't going to mean a thing to you, because the whole point is figuring out which number is actually yours.
Here's something almost nobody tells you. Most people are comparing themselves to the exact wrong number. You see these headlines about average net worth, and those numbers get dragged sky high by a tiny fraction of extremely wealthy people. What folks don't realize is that the median, well, that's what a normal person working a normal job actually has in the bank. Once you know the real number for your age, you stop guessing and you start targeting.
Your 20s, the starting line. Let's start right where everyone starts. Broke, in debt, and 20 years old. In your 20s, the real median net worth in America is just $6,980. That's it, not 6 figures, under 7 grand. And you know what? That is completely normal, because most people at this age are still digging themselves out of student loan debt. They aren't really building wealth yet.
But here is your actual target. Fidelity recommends having roughly 1 times your salary saved by the time you hit 30. So, if you're making $50,000 a year, that means $50,000 saved, spread across your retirement accounts, brokerage, and savings combined.
Now, there are 3 specific things that separate the people who hit that number from the ones who don't. Number 1, they absolutely kill high-interest debt first. Credit cards, buy now, pay later schemes, anything with an interest rate north of 10%, gone. They wipe it out before a single extra dollar goes toward investing. Student loans under 6%? Those can wait. Number 2, they save 15 to 20% of every single paycheck automatically. They do it before they ever even see the money hit their checking account. And number 3, they treat their 20s as the exact decade to raise their income, not just protect it. Getting one new certification or a major skill upgrade can literally take you from 60 grand to 120 grand in under 2 years. That isn't luck. That's what happens when you stop guessing your career and you start engineering it.
Your 30s, the growth trap. Look, your 20s are really just the warm-up. This next decade is the one that quietly makes or breaks your entire financial future.
By your 30s, that median net worth jumps up to $34,691. So that's real progress, right? But here's the catch. This is also the decade where most people quietly lose ground. Why? Because their spending grows exactly as fast as their income. The target here is to have 3 times your salary saved by 40. On a median income near $62,000, that means you need about $186,000 saved up. If you have that and you keep investing from here, you're realistically on track to clear $2 million by retirement.
But we've got to talk about the trap. It's called lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, right? Suddenly the rent goes up because you move. The car gets a bit nicer, the vacations get a little fancier. Meanwhile, your actual savings rate, it never moves an inch. So steal this rule. Every single time you get a raise, save half of it before you spend a cent of the rest. Seriously, a $10,000 raise, that becomes $5,000 saved and $5,000 to enjoy. You get to upgrade your life and build wealth at the exact same time. And here is your second non-negotiable rule. You need to be completely debt-free by 40, except for your mortgage. No car payments, no revolving credit cards, no student loans hanging over your head. Because your 30s are your highest leverage earning years. Every dollar that isn't paying someone else interest is a dollar compounding for you instead of against you.
Your 40s, the acceleration phase. If you nailed your 30s, your 40s are going to feel like pure acceleration. But if you miss the mark, well, this is exactly where the math turns completely unforgiving. In your 40s, the median net worth reaches $126,881. In Fidelity's benchmark, it doubles again. The target is now 6 times your salary saved by age 50. Here is why this decade is absolutely critical. Every dollar you invest right now has roughly half the time to compound compared to a dollar you invested back in your 20s. So optimization, not just participation, becomes the entire game.
There are 3 main things that separate the people who close the wealth gap here from those who fall way behind. First, they max out their retirement contributions. They don't just contribute something. The difference between funding half the annual limit and actually maxing it out can literally mean retiring with double the balance. Second, they build a second income stream. Now, that doesn't mean you have to start a massive business. It could be a rental property, dividend income, or just one highly focused skill that brings in an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. Relying on a single paycheck in your 40s is one of the riskiest financial decisions you can make, even if it doesn't feel risky at the time. And third, they map out the big expenses years ahead of time. I'm talking about the mortgage payoff date, the college fund, the aging parent costs that nobody ever budgets for until they're already happening. The folks who are ahead by 50 usually didn't earn more money, they just stopped reacting and started planning 3, 5, even 10 years out.
Your 50s, maximum urgency. Which brings us to the decade where the finish line completely stops being theoretical.
In your 50s, the median net worth sits at $292,085. And make no mistake, urgency matters more now than it ever has. Fidelity's target shoots up to 8 times your salary saved by 60. But this decade comes with a huge advantage that younger savers simply don't get: catch-up contributions. In 2026, once you turn 50, you'll be able to put up to $32,500 into a 401k, compared to just $24,500 for anyone under 50. That is an extra $8,000 a year. It's a tax-sheltered lifeline that just wasn't an option for you earlier in life.
3 moves matter the absolute most in your 50s. Number 1, attack the mortgage. Housing is almost always the single biggest expense in retirement. Killing that debt before you stop working changes absolutely everything about how much cash you actually need to survive. Number 2, shift your portfolio. Your 50s are no longer about chasing the highest possible returns. They are about not making one catastrophic mistake. You need more bonds, more stability, and much less exposure to a market crash that you simply won't have the time to recover from. And number 3, know your real spending number. Fidelity's rule of thumb is that you should expect to spend somewhere between 55 and 80% of your pre-retirement income every year once you finally stop working. Calculate that number right now while you still have a whole decade to close any gap. Do not wait until you're already retired and it's far too late to fix it.
Your 60s, the final stretch, which brings us to the final countdown. This is the decade where absolutely everything either pays off or it doesn't. By your 60s, that median net worth reaches $454,489, and Fidelity's target makes its final climb to 10 times your salary. That means if you're making $65,000 a year, you are aiming to have roughly $650,000 saved by traditional retirement age. But listen closely, this decade isn't about growth anymore. It is strictly about protection and timing.
Here is the single biggest decision most people get totally wrong: when to actually take Social Security. If you claim it early at 62, your benefit is permanently cut by up to 30%. But if you wait until 70 instead of 67, you lock in roughly 8% more money for every single year of the rest of your life. That one decision alone can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a long retirement. The second major shift: your portfolio should lean heavily towards stability now. Bonds, fixed income, capital preservation, because you no longer have decades to sit around and wait for the market to recover from a downturn. Oh, and here's the quiet goal almost nobody talks about. You need to figure out what actually gives you purpose once the paycheck disappears. The people who struggle the most in retirement usually aren't the ones who run out of money. They're the ones who woke up without a reason to get out of bed.
Now, look, I know exactly what a lot of you are thinking right now. You're sitting there saying, I'm nowhere close to my number. I'm already way behind. But here is the honest, unfiltered truth. Most people are. Remember, every median number we just went through means that exactly half the country is below it. Being behind the benchmark doesn't mean you failed, it means you're normal. And being normal is exactly what these benchmarks are built to challenge. Because what actually moves the needle isn't your starting point today, it's your savings rate starting right now, compounding for as long as humanly possible. Someone who starts at 0 in their late 30s, but stays incredibly consistent will absolutely outbuild someone who started early and just quit. The math doesn't care about your excuses, right? It only cares about what happens from this second forward.
So as promised, here is the one-page version of everything we just broke down in this explainer. By 30, you want to aim for 1 times your salary saved. By 40, aim for 3 times. By 50, 6 times. By 60, 8 times. And by retirement, you want 10 times your salary tucked away. That is your benchmark. Save it, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do to remember it. And hey, if you now know exactly where you stand, whether it's good or bad, drop into the comments and tell me your age and how close you are to your target. I read every single one, and I promise you, you are not as alone in this as it might feel.
Finally, if this explainer just showed you a massive gap you didn't even know existed, please do not just queue up the next explainer and forget about it. Go move $1 single into an account that compounds. Do it today. Do it before you even close this tab, because ultimately, taking action right now is the only step that actually matters.